Whose game is it? It's Michael Jordan's game, and on May 17, 1992, he proved exactly why the world still remembers that night as one of the defining moments of his career. The Chicago Bulls and the New York Knicks clashed in a brutal Game 7 that could have changed basketball history forever. The Knicks came into the series loaded with weapons: Patrick Ewing, Xavier McDaniel, Mark Jackson, and John Starks, all determined to end the Bulls' reign before it even started. One loss for Chicago, and the dynasty we know today might never have existed. For Jordan, everything hung on those 48 minutes, and failure was not an option. The Bulls were the reigning champions, fresh off their first ever title in 1991, but a single ring didn't guarantee a dynasty. The NBA was full of hungry challengers, and New York, with its physical, scrappy style of play, was the toughest of all. They had revenge on their minds after being swept by Chicago the year before. This wasn't just another playoff series. It was a war for dominance, and the winner would set the tone for years to come. For Michael, it was the ultimate test of whether he could carry his team to true greatness. The Knicks had momentum from the start. They shocked Chicago by taking Game 1 behind a monster 34-point night from Patrick Ewing. That statement win put the Bulls on notice. Chicago responded with back-to-back victories thanks to Jordan's heroics, but New York refused to back down. Every game was a dogfight, and the teams traded blows until the series was tied at 3 games apiece. That's how it all came down to one decisive night in Chicago Stadium. The pressure was suffocating. One bad game from Jordan, and the entire Bulls' legacy could have crumbled before it began. From the moment the ball tipped, the intensity was overwhelming. Jordan wasted no time. On his very first possession, he attacked the paint, crashing through defenders and drawing a foul. The message was clear. He wasn't going to let this game slip away. The crowd of 25,000 roared as every possession turned into a battle. But the Knicks were not intimidated. Gerald Wilkins threw down a vicious dunk in transition that silenced the arena, and it looked like the game could spiral away early. But Jordan immediately answered with a silky mid-range jumper that seemed effortless, even against tight defense. That jumper was just the beginning. Jordan's arsenal was on full display. Fadeaways from the post, spins into the lane, pull-ups from the elbow. Every time the Knicks thought they had him contained, he found another way to score. Xavier McDaniel tried to bully him, but that only fueled Michael's fire. McDaniel and Pippen nearly came to blows in the first quarter, and when McDaniel started jawing at Jordan, it became personal. Jordan went at him relentlessly, drilling jumpers in his face and attacking until the Knicks' defense started to crumble. McDaniel had made the biggest mistake of his career by waking up an already locked-in Jordan. The Bulls fed off that energy. Scottie Pippen slashed to the rim for dunks. Horace Grant punished the Knicks inside. And role players like John Paxson and B.J. Armstrong hit big shots when the defense collapsed on Michael. But no matter what his teammates did, it was Jordan's game. He even baited defenders into fouling him while knocking down impossible jumpers, converting and won plays that left the Knicks shaking their heads. His footwork was flawless, his mid-range jumper unstoppable, and his intensity unmatched. By halftime, he had already lit up the scoreboard. But the Bulls were only up by 5. That was the terrifying part. He was playing out of his mind, and the Knicks were still right there. The second half was the true turning point. Instead of fading, Jordan raised his level even higher. He opened the third quarter by dishing to Pippen for an easy layup, then grabbed an offensive rebound for a putback. He blocked John Starks' jumper on defense, then floated through double teams on offense as if the Knicks weren't even there. He was everywhere, scoring, assisting, rebounding, and defending like a man possessed. Even when he briefly lost the ball in transition, he sprinted back to shut down McDaniel, proving he wasn't just dominating on offense but controlling every inch of the court. The Bulls slowly pulled away, fueled by Jordan's all-around brilliance. B.J. Armstrong buried a jumper to extend the lead, and soon Chicago was up 15 points. The game wasn't over, but the Knicks could feel it slipping away. Every highlight from Jordan added to the sense of inevitability. His baseline spin into a reverse layup defied physics, a move that players would study for decades. His fadeaways over Patrick Ewing showed that even the Knicks' towering superstar couldn't challenge him. Each shot, each play, each possession, it was like Jordan was reminding the world that this was his league now. Even as the lead grew, Jordan never let up. He was determined to finish the Knicks off completely, to leave no doubt. The Bulls as a team responded to his leadership. Pippen shook off the earlier scuffle and delivered a strong all-around game, grabbing rebounds and finding teammates. Horace Grant's energy inside kept possessions alive, while the bench gave timely support. But everything revolved around Jordan. His presence made everyone sharper, tougher, more confident. That's what set him apart. He didn't just dominate individually, he elevated everyone around him. The climax came late in the game when Jordan rose up in the post against Patrick Ewing. With the crowd on its feet, he hit a jumper right over Ewing's outstretched arms. It was a dagger, not just on the scoreboard, but in the hearts of the Knicks. Ewing could only shake his head. Moments later, tempers flared again and the game nearly turned into a brawl. But Jordan wasn't fazed. He calmly hit his final basket off an inbound pass from Pippen, the perfect exclamation point on a performance for the ages. When the buzzer sounded, the Bulls had won 110-81, and Jordan's stat line said it all. 42 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks. He had filled every category, proving he wasn't just the best scorer in the league, but the most complete player in the game. Pippen chipped in a triple-double with 17 points, and together they had delivered a masterpiece. The Knicks had thrown everything at Chicago, and it still wasn't enough. That victory was more than just advancing to the next round. It set the tone for the rest of the playoffs. The Bulls dispatched Cleveland in the conference finals and then defeated the Portland Trail Blazers in 6 games to claim their second straight championship. Jordan was named Finals MVP again, cementing his status as the face of the league and the future of basketball. The dynasty was real now. The rest of the NBA understood that this wasn't a fluke. The Bulls were here to stay. For the Knicks, it was a crushing defeat. Ewing gave everything he had, McDaniel battled, and Starks fought hard. But they had run into a force of nature. They would continue to chase a championship in the years to come, and they would even reach the finals in 1994 after Jordan's first retirement. But they never won it all. They simply had the misfortune of playing in the same era as Michael Jordan, and nights like May 17, 1992, were the reason why. Looking back, that game wasn't just about statistics or highlights. It was about legacy. If the Bulls had lost, Jordan's reputation would have been dented, and the dynasty might have never taken off. But because he delivered under the highest pressure imaginable, his legend only grew. That night proved to the world that when everything was on the line, Jordan was inevitable. He could not be stopped. He could not be denied. He was going to win no matter what. Fans still debate what Jordan's greatest game was, but for many, this Game 7 stands out. Not because of a buzzer beater or a miraculous comeback, but because he controlled the game from start to finish in every possible way. He scored, he defended, he led, and he inspired. It was a complete performance, one that left no room for doubt about who the best player in the world was. In the end, the 1992 Bulls became the team everyone feared, not just for what they had done, but for what was still coming. Jordan's fire, combined with the trust he built with Pippen, Grant, and the rest of the roster, created an unstoppable force. The Knicks had their chance to change history, but Jordan slammed the door shut. And in doing so, he changed basketball forever. That single night also reshaped the rivalry between Chicago and New York. The Knicks doubled down on their physical identity after 1992, adding even more grit with players like Charles Oakley and later Anthony Mason. But no matter how tough they tried to be, they could never fully solve the Jordan problem. Every postseason matchup became a test of wills, and every time Jordan rose to the occasion. That Game 7 was the blueprint of what was to come, a reminder that talent combined with relentless determination would always outlast brute force. It also sent a message to the league at large. The Pistons' reign had already ended, but the Knicks wanted to be the new power in the East. Instead, the Bulls slammed that door shut and claimed the throne as their own. From that point on, every contender knew that to win a championship, they would have to go through Jordan. That reality shaped the next decade of basketball as teams built rosters not just to win games but to try to stop him specifically. Most of them failed before they even had a chance. Perhaps the most powerful part of this story is how Jordan thrived when everything was on the line. Game 7s are where legacies are made or broken, and on May 17, 1992, Jordan built his foundation brick by brick. That performance wasn't just a win, it was a declaration that no matter how high the stakes, Michael Jordan would always be the last man standing.